Three, two, one, and we are live.
Here we are. Okay, your
We are
camera's
live.
already
No,
messed up. I don't
no
know
way.
why.
Amazing.
What's the
Live again, sir.
problem? I don't know what the problem is, but we're already having it. Nice. Do you see yourself? I don't know if you have the
Yeah,
stream up.
I do. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
That
it's
is.
fine. Just move into sight, right? I'm gonna try to do this and see if it works, but I don't think it will.
I don't.
What? What is happening?
Okay, you know what? Again, the first hour has
There we
nothing to
go.
do with Twitch or video or anything along those lines, so I'm not too worried about it. Whatever. The
That's true.
video, you can sort that out while we chat and ramble on here like we do babbling all the time. Um, so this is what season 2, episode 1. We had a bit of a delay due to our lovely friend over here, Drake.
Yeah, it
Oh,
happens. It seems like it happens all the time, but here we are.
oh, look at all the nightmares we had right prior to going live here. Obviously, my camera wants to mess up, and hence the video issue there. My microphone wanted to shut down. I literally had everything fall apart less than 5 minutes before we're about to go live. So it's pretty incredible.
I am literally putting your video on the screen as we're talking. That's
That is hilarious.
fantastic. Okay.
And see, sometimes you have to improvise on the go, and that's a lot of what this show is literally flying by the seat of our pants. And
There we go.
welcome everyone.
I think we're back. This is Babbling with Borders. Over Borders. God, we're off to a fantastic start.
You are on a roll, sir. You're just
I
killing it.
try.
And this is why you can't take a
I
break,
try.
right? You're
I
just supposed
know.
to keep going and keep
We've been
going.
gone for 1.5 weeks. Two and a
Well,
half,
yeah,
I guess, technically.
You changed the date, you changed the time.
Look, season 2. It was all planned beforehand. Season 2.
So we will see how long. Obviously, we've changed the dates to Sunday night now at 7 p.m. We're going to see how this works out for everybody and their routines and job schedules and everything going on. And hopefully, this will be the day moving forward. Again, we might have to juggle. But like us and our conversations, we might just end up kind of being all over the place whenever we can fit it in, whenever works good for both of us. And, again, kind of keep flying by the seat of our pants like we've done this whole time.
Even during this episode. It'll
Yeah,
never be
well,
100% perfect. We shoot for 90, and we still fall short most of the time, honestly. But 90 is like par, right? If we can do, it's probably above par. If we can hit 90% success, we're doing pretty well. Right now we're at like 40, so we'll get there eventually.
eventually.
I probably sound terrible right now. I don't know how I sound on your side. I'm sure I sound terrible on the recorded version. I am a
Yeah,
tad under the weather.
just a little, eh?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't have any like bad symptoms, right? It's just mainly like chills and like sore throat. I think a lot of the sore throat is honestly coming from vaping because I'm vaping this new juice that is super throaty and harsh. And honestly, I should probably stop until I feel better because it is not helping. But
Well, I'd want to blame it
continue.
everything and anything else possible to as much as possible. I definitely respect your decisions and can completely understand. No hard feelings whatsoever.
Tell him why I'm feeling rough.
Under the weather.
Anthony
Well,
from Canada.
my friend here decided to go ahead and participate in the lovely COVID-19 vaccine. And so tell everybody, sir, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
I feel pretty rough. I'd say I'll walk through the series of events though. So I got vaxxed Friday night. You should put the headset on too. It's a little echoey.
You're echoey. I'll turn it down, sir. But yes.
But I got vaxxed Friday night at 7 p.m. So then I'd say my arm started being pretty sore around like 11 midnight. I don't know. I didn't really like notice it too much because I was just playing games or whatever. And then I got up to do something. I was like, wow, my arm is sore. So it was just a little bit of soreness. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not that worried about the soreness, I imagined. And then I slept, woke up the next day, and my arm was super sore, much more than the first night. I'd say it was pretty much, I don't want to say like, painstakingly couldn't move, right? But I'd say above like middle, like shoulder length, anything above that was like too strenuous to want to do, right? Like, I could survive, but wasn't really feeling it. So that was just a nuisance. And then what was yesterday? Saturday. So yes. So also, I'd say like midday. I was super tired, pretty much all day. Like but I did wake up super early. I don't know. There's a dozen things. I'm really not helping any of the symptoms by doing everything on top of it. Because I also ran a bunch of errands Saturday morning as soon as I woke up. If I just took a couple days to like relax and like not strain myself, it'd probably be fine. But I'd say I started feeling a little like rougher, just super tired all day. And then sort of like, I don't know. I don't want to say like feverish because I did check my temperature. I'm not running a fever to my knowledge. And it's just more like chills, I guess.
See, and those are all regular symptoms. You heard lots of
exactly
people,
right.
Forearms, slept a lot of the day, even a couple days after. I don't think those are anything. I'm glad to hear that everything went good. Again, I have nothing. You have to do what you feel is best for you. I hope everyone does what they feel is best for them. Obviously, I have a bit of a difference of opinion, and that's okay, right? Like, I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally cool with that. Like I said, I'm glad you're feeling good. I'm glad everything went good for the most part. You know what I mean? And I hope you continue to feel better. You do sound just a little nasally, though.
Yeah, I think it's mainly my throat. Like I said, my throat's been super sore all day, but it is definitely partially vaping. Because even before I got vexed, I was talking to people the other day when I started using this juice. I was like, man, this is harsh. It's just a new it's a new company I ordered from, so it's a lot harsher than what I'm used to. So it's definitely not helping. Even earlier, I was like, I think I'm gonna stop until I, feel a little bit better, and then I reached for it, hit it a few more times.
So I gotta ask though, you actually ordered liquid? I do know you the DIY.
So it's DIY liquid. I bought like PGVG nicotine premix. From a company. Okay. So this time I bought a gallon of it because it's the best I could find, because it is a lot harder now. I had to switch companies because the company I normally use does not sell it anymore because of the shipping restrictions.
Yeah, rules and regulations.
So this is the only place I could find, and the best. I could either buy 500 mils or a gallon, or I don't even think it was 500. I think it was like 250 mils. Or a gallon. So I was like, okay, I'll just buy a gallon, I guess, and have the stock. But it is definitely a lot harsher. I mean, I ordered it in a 3 with an 80-20 blend. So in theory, it shouldn't be that harsh. But I think the flavorings bring the PG ratio up a good bit, which makes your juice harsher. And then it might be like a new mix.
How much did you pay for nicotine, if you don't mind me asking? I just think the only reason I'm curious.
I think a gallon was 50 US, give or take. For the premix.
Oh, see, and that's cheap. Like, I'll be honest, I'd probably buy it from you and have you ship it up, and it would still be cheaper. I'm sure we could figure it out. I just seen recently there's a person again on social media, Facebook specifically, advertising a website, and they're like, "Oh, this is the latest, greatest website. This site is amazing." And you go on there and there's 3 products and it's literally like Nick shots, and it's very, very expensive for a small amount of nicotine. Again, I didn't look too closely at the strengths. Maybe it is on par for prices. I really can't comment either way. I don't know enough. I don't DIY. I never been down there. I don't buy my own nicotine. So
I think it's a little higher than I paid last time. I also normally don't buy this much. I normally buy 500 ml bottles, like a few of them, like I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 of them,
Mm-hmm.
because I prefer the size of obviously a 500 ml to pour in mitts than I do a gallon jug because that's a lot more complicated to pour. But like I
Oh,
said,
of course.
my best option was the gallon. So I was like, I'll buy this. I'll have enough for. Then did the math after adding everything. It's like 40 plus bottles of juice. So I'll end up having like less than $2 per 100 ml. So it's well worth DIYing. But I couldn't not DIY at this point. I can't go into a shop and spend 20, $25 on 100 ml. That would cripple me mentally.
Well, and again, after you know what you know, and you know what I mean, like there's a whole side to the industry that some people are unaware of, right? Like obviously, there's a massive push to, um, and this is the part I'm not necessarily a big fan of, right? Like everyone's moving towards disposables, and you get a very small amount of liquid for a very expensive price. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of the time, you're paying for the disposable pod that's going to go in the garbage. And so, you know what I mean? As much as they serve a place, I do think they are excellent, excellent devices for a smoker first looking to switch. You know, I do think longevity and price wise, right? A lot of people say, you know, vaping was meant to save money and your health.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when you're buying expensive little devices like this little pod style, and I guess I should be more clear for the viewers listening, right? It's basically a dual style device. Um,
Yeah.
Again, a disposable pod, and you throw it out when it's done, right? But yeah, the price and those things, I think you can easily cut
I
your
think it's just where the
costs in
market
half.
goes, though, right? But I think it's also worth noting that people shouldn't just mix randomly. Like, I do it. I have enough experience
Yeah.
doing it to where I'm not worried about it, right? I mean, I've done it for a long time, but at the beginning, I was doing it recklessly, and it was terrible. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have been doing that, right? But I was young and
Well, and
reckless with it. But since then, I've literally made juice in labs. I've done enough. I have enough experience to be able to mix it without even measuring at this point. I can just roughly eyeball it because I've done it so many times, right?
well, see, and it's interesting you say that because you think of a place like England that's actually accepted and promoted vaping, and they're adding their own nicotine shots. And that was one of the things. If nicotine is so dangerous and nicotine is the evil killer, and kids get addicted to nicotine and la da da, nicotine so bad. Um,
Mm-hmm.
why would you have pure nicotine bottles sold in the shop? Like I
I'll
just
be
thought that was
honest, that is probably my biggest reserve about how the
hmm,
UK or places like that also handle that. I would say they do a pretty good job, in my opinion, of almost everything. But that does seem like I don't know. I don't know the ratio either, right? I don't. I would not. I would not assume it was like 99% nicotine, like you would get in labs, right? I would
well,
assume
no,
it's like a shot of, let's say, I mean, it's 10 milliliters that they get it in, if I'm not mistaken. So out of that
uh-huh.
10 ml bottle, it is super diluted with whatever it is, VG or PG. So it's not that dangerous at that rate, right? Because even then, it's. I mean, I've handled pure nicotine before, and I've got it on me, and it is very bad, right? Like,
Yeah, but you got to think. So you're mixing that little 10 ml bottle to a 60 ml or 120 ml or even a 30 ml bottle of liquid. If you were to already have that nicotine within the liquid, right? I'm going to assume it's going to be safer if if a child were to ever, heaven forbid, get their hands on it, right? It would be safer in a 30 ml or 60, like a bigger bottle, even further diluted than in a little 10 ml bottle.
I
Just
agree. I don't really know why they do it exactly. I haven't done that type of research on why that legislation was passed. I mean, a lot of Europe does it, right? Oh no, we are talking to our Swedish friend. You mentioned it there
if
too.
if I'm not mistaken, I think part of it is for tax purposes because I think a lot of it they end up
Mm.
taxing on the nicotine specifically, and so if you're
Mm-hmm.
only taxed at a 10 ml bottle, and I could be completely wrong. Again,
No,
I'm
that
just thinking.
sounds right. I think. I mean, yeah, from a safety aspect, that wouldn't really make any sense. But like I said, it's
Well,
not. It's not a dangerous level, right? It takes a lot of nicotine to be really dangerous. Like, for example, it takes roughly 50 to 60 milliliters of pure nicotine to kill someone. That is a ton of nicotine, right? And you have to like ingest it. That's to the point where it becomes deadly. Like an average person, that's the deadly
I don't
amount.
even think you could ingest it. I think you would end up becoming sick before you would
Exactly,
be
right. Like you
physically
would have to.
able to ingest enough. I
It would
think
have to
you
be
would
like
actually,
injected or something at that point, or
yes,
not? Yeah,
I think
like
you would
injected.
actually have to inject nicotine to overdose on it
But I
because
have
again,
had
a
it
lot of
like
people.
on my hands or something, like while mixing, like in whatever situation. Like I said, I buy pre-mits now, so when I DIY at home, because I don't want to go through the hassle and just the effort of measuring out nicotine that precisely, right? I don't want to take that risk to either not measure it right, get it on me, whatever. I would rather just buy it pre-mixed, 3 milligram. But when I have been working in labs or whatever, I've gotten it on my hands, and it hits you fast, right? You start getting, it'd be the equivalent of like if you vaped way too much nicotine and you get that head rush and like feel sick. But it's like a matter of like a minute that it happens if you get it on your hand, right? And same thing with CBD. I've worked in CBD labs also, and like super extracted CBD does the same thing to me. It might have even been worse for me, but that's like my personal experience, right? So it could be different for everyone.
Well, and I know, yeah, but a lot of people that have worked with nicotine have obviously said, you know what I mean? It does, obviously, when you're working with the pure form of it, if you get it on your skin, it becomes itchy or irritated, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that's a massive point that a lot of people miss when it comes to that topic, right? Is it's nearly impossible to overdose on it because you become so violently ill so
Mm-hmm.
quickly that you couldn't consume enough quickly enough to actually, harm
Exactly right.
yourself.
It's the
You just
same,
end up
especially by vaping. It is physically impossible to consume enough to like
violently ill.
OD by vaping it, right? You just can't
Yeah,
consume it fast enough. You could
no,
drip pure nicotine and you still would not be able to consume it fast enough, right?
no. I think the first head rush and the instant puking after would, you know what I mean,
And
deter.
don't get me wrong, you
How
get
do you keep
horribly
how do you
sick,
keep
right?
inhaling while you're puking? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like I had it happen not even that long ago. We vaped a little too much. Again, I got in a new little device. Stupid me, high wattage, high nicotine. Yeah, it definitely. It was early in the morning. I took a couple puffs,
Mm-hmm.
not even thinking, and within probably 2 minutes, I was like, oh boy, I am not feeling so hot, and yeah, I was
Yeah, no,
gagging a little bit.
I've honestly thrown up from
No,
vaping many, many more times than I could ever count. I used to do a lot of
no,
cloud comps, and so I was constantly like doing. I mean, it was stupid, right? In hindsight, I wouldn't do anything like that now, but I was like I said, younger and dumb, and just doing like pushing it over the top. Vaping. There was a point where I vaped 60 mils a day,
yeah. See, that's
and that is over
insane.
the top, right? So, and it would even be, I mean, cloud comping. We were vaping six and menthol to get better cloud. It was ridiculous, right? But now, obviously, I'm smart enough to realize. But I think that is a danger to people that are not, don't have that experience, to just start DIYing just for price, right? Like if you're gonna start DIYing, do your research, buy small amounts, test in like 10 ml bottles.
Oh, whoa, sir! I don't know if you're allowed to tell people to do their own research now. That's like a
Get
conspiracy
out of
theory
here.
uh
Get your own
mentality.
reputable research from people
Yeah,
with
you have to
experience,
ask
knowing
someone
what they're talking about.
reputable,
Do
someone
not
high
just go
up
to
within the
Facebook
government.
and start clicking on random posts from people you don't know in real life and then seeing what they have to say about it, because that can end up tragically wrong.
Yeah, but again, I don't see why getting people's personal opinions who have used something and or consumed something is.
Well, speaking for nicotine, I would resort to someone with a lot of experience in DIY and nicotine, and or people that are respected in the field of vaping before you make any decisions that could impact your health while vaping or DIYing with nicotine.
Well, and you know what though? Again, if you're actually looking for DIY anything along those lines, there is tons and tons of websites and Facebook pages and all those things related to those topics with very, very knowledgeable people. Obviously, I've cruised down that alley a little bit. I've looked into it. It is very, very interesting. But again, knowing myself and how I go, that's not something that I want to sit there and do. It would be tedious and lots of patience involved, and that's not. I'm a
I think
bull in a
only in the
china shop.
startup. I think genuinely, if someone wanted to start DIY, it is. It's not complicated. You just have to be safe, right? I'm not saying it's an impossible task that takes years of experience, but just be safe with it. Know how to use a pipette and a syringe, right? Know how to measure things. Have a scale or the correct tools to do so, right? And you'll
Yeah,
be
but then
fine.
again,
Because it's just the same
I
as baking, right? It's the same as baking a cake. You read the directions, you put it in, you're good to go.
yeah, well, and baking a cake without knowing what you're doing, can be very
Exactly
dangerous.
right.
Again, uh, uh, stop thinking for 1 minute around the oven and you get burned. I literally did that the other day. There the smoker was on fire, and I was like, "Oh, I just got to see what's still on fire." And I was like, oh, "I'll just move this," and it was on fire. So I
Man,
should
the
have
other
picked it up
day, or maybe a
with
couple
my
weeks ago
hand.
or something, I reached into my oven with like a pot holder, like a square pot holder, or whatever, and I tried to
Yeah,
grab the like rack to pull it out and get what I had in the oven out. And as soon as I got to the rack with it, the square pot holder fell out of my hands, but I was already mid grip, so I just gripped the damn rack in my oven with it at like 400 degrees, and let me tell you, that was not pleasant.
no, yeah. You play with
I
fire,
was
you get burned on it.
quite angry after that, I'll tell you
Yeah, believe me. After, because you do this stupid thing, and then you're thinking to yourself, like, why did I just, like, I know better. That was really
that.
dumb, and I
Right.
clearly, you know what I mean, am old enough and wise enough to know that this is not a good decision.
Not old
But every
enough for
once in a
sure. I don't
while,
know about wise enough.
well, I'm just saying, you should be wise enough to know the oven's gonna be hot at both our ages. You know what I mean? Like, and the
Yeah,
thing that's on fire is
you
gonna
think.
be hot. You probably shouldn't touch it. Like,
Man, last
yeah,
night, literally last night, I was cooking pasta, right? I had my family over. I was making pasta for them. Homemade pasta. Cooks very fast, right? Like a
yeah,
couple minutes on the stove, you're good to go. Well,
yeah.
it was a lot of pasta. It's not a big pot with a lot of water. Because it was 4 people's worth of pasta, right? That's a lot. So I put the
Oh God.
pasta in and I turn around to do something. Pasta water's up, pretty high heat, cooking away. Suddenly, I hear sizzling. I turn around. The pasta water is overflowing all over the stove, the hot eye, water going everywhere. I just froze. I'm like, what do I even do here? I don't know what to do. I can't grab it with my hands because pasta water's flying everywhere. It's all over the pot handles, so I can't just grab this boiling hot water. I can't let it keep going because it's just pouring water everything. So there we go. That's life. That's how my night. Actually, everything I cooked last night, it went horribly wrong. Like it ended up
I would
good, but like the process itself was mentally draining, bro. I'll tell
I
you
would
that.
love to see you in the kitchen. That would be a hoot in
I
itself.
made some good
Knowing you
food,
personally, I could not. Yeah, that bowl in the china shop is all I picture, and the
dude.
kitchen looks like a bomb
I
went off
think
by the time
it
you're done,
did.
and you're like, "Look, it's amazing! I made this amazing
Look, look,
loaf of
look.
bread."
Hear me out.
And
So
yeah,
when I cook
kitchen
for
is a
just me
bomb.
and my sister, it goes super smooth, super easy every time. But when I cook for my parents, like when they come over and I'm cooking for all four of us, every single time, it is
You
like
get
a
nervous?
tragic mistake. I think it's the time because they eat around a certain time. So I always have to like try to make sure everything's done by like the time my parents eat dinner, right? As opposed to me and my sister, when I cooked that, I'd just be cooking, right? She eats when she gets it. I don't care. She gets to consume the food when the food is done and ready. But I'm not trying to make my parents wait until like 10 p.m. to eat food, right? Because they're on like a schedule. So I think it's the
Yeah.
time crunch, and I'm just not used to having to like multitask all that much while making food.
Do you ever think that maybe you should somewhat get on that schedule too and like eat at normal times and
I
be
think I
like a normal?
do. It's just normally a lot later. Like my sister gets off at 8. So almost every time I'm
Oh,
cooking, food is done by like 8:30 roughly, right? Whereas when
Yeah.
they come over, I gotta be ready about like 6, right? And it's
See,
just weird because I don't know. I guess I'm so like habitually ready to cook at like 8 that when I have to time stuff and like everything's going at the same time, I'm like, nope, just goes to hell.
well, and like, you know what though? I think a lot of people don't really understand that. Like, as a shift worker and someone who worked all kinds of different shifts throughout years and years of my life, like plowing snow, you're gone for days on end, not even
Mm-hmm.
necessarily hours. You know what I mean? You kind of eat whenever you're given the opportunity, and so I can totally understand. You know what I mean? Like, I get home at 1 p.m. at night after eating nothing but restaurant food for 2 days out plowing snow, and all I want is a home cooked meal. So you know what I mean? Like, sometimes
Mm.
it doesn't necessarily matter what time it is. Like, if you're working shift work, 3 to 11, I worked that shift for a long time too, and that one, yeah, you come home, you end up staying up till almost like 3, 4 in the morning. You sleep till almost 11 or noon, and you're back to work the next day. Um, Definitely a really weird shift, but yeah, eating at midnight when you get home, 11:30. You know what I mean? When you get home,
Mm-hmm.
like, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you don't just go to bed?" It's like, well, no, like, I don't know. My whole shift has changed. My whole schedule has changed. Like, now I get up at noon. I eat dinner at midnight. You know what I mean? Like, breakfast is lunchtime for me.
I'll ask you
So,
this: how long does it take you to get hungry when you wake up? So let's say you wake up at 10 a.m. What time do you think you'll normally be hungry around?
oh, I normally don't eat until probably dinner time. So, like, I am horrible, horrible, horrible for that.
So no matter when you wake up, though, you wait like 8 hours, we'll say, to eat food.
Um, no. So more recently, I have, and I shouldn't even say more recently. Obviously, with the circumstances, I haven't been going to work, so, and not being able to afford morning things. But I was trying when I was working to basically consume something in the morning, a bagel, a muffin, a something, and just so I would eat something throughout the day instead of just like one massive meal.
But you don't really get
Um,
hungry until later.
yeah, no, I've never been like a big breakfast guy. That's back to when I was like a teenager. Yeah, I stopped
Mm-hmm.
eating breakfast.
See, here's my
Um,
thing. When I wake up, it takes me probably 3 or 4 hours before I'm hungry. So I don't eat a lot of breakfast, but I
yeah,
love breakfast food. It's my favorite meal. Like type of food, I love breakfast.
really.
But it's tragic because I never eat it. Because I don't know. It's just rough. Sometimes I will, right? Like yesterday I was out in the morning. My sister was like, "Oh, you want Chick-fil-A breakfast?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm not that hungry, but we're here. I'll eat breakfast."
Yeah,
Today, breakfast food, but it was at like 1 p.m. when my sister woke up.
that was one of the worst things I actually hated about working crazy shifts, night shifts, whatever it may be, plowing especially. It's 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning when you get off, and all the restaurants are serving breakfast, and all you want is a T-bone steak, or you know what I mean, like a Philly
Mm-hmm.
cheesesteak or a big old burger. You know what I mean? After working however many hours, and they're like, "Oh, we can give you like bacon and eggs," and I'm like, "No, like this is not what I'm feeling right now. Like, I
See,
need
I'm
like real
super
food."
picky about what I eat. Like when I eat it. Not even the types of food, but like when I want them. Like, I don't know, Wendy's. I love Wendy's, right? It's one of my favorite fast food restaurants. But there are days where I would just be like, Wendy's sounds so terrible. And other days where like, I don't know, it makes it really hard to grocery shop. Because I'll be at the store and I'm like, okay, I have to plan the next like 2 weeks worth of meals, but I don't know what I want until that day. And then I just go to the store and buy it, right? And cook it. But trying to plan
No,
out what I'm going to eat Monday through Friday is hell for me. I hate it.
yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I normally decide the day. I'm definitely
Also,
bad
I
for
only
that.
grocery shop, or I try to only grocery shop when I'm getting hungry. Because grocery shopping when I'm full, like after I eat, or when I'm just not hungry at all, is also impossible for me. Because I can't even think about what food sounds like. Like, I can't think about what looks good or sounds good
No,
if I'm not
no.
hungry.
No, no. If I go into the grocery store hungry, buddy, like you just put the whole shopping, like just put everything.
That's the plan, bro. Then I have
No,
options for when I'm home
no,
and don't know what I want.
so bad. No, no, I can't do that. That's horrible, horrible. I try not to go there hungry because yeah, it doesn't end well. You buy way more than you need to. It's ridiculous. You know, vegetables, salad, all those things go bad so quickly,
That's why
right?
I don't
Like
buy them, bro.
there is some benefits to shopping daily. Obviously, under the circumstances, I'm sure not a lot of people are going to the grocery store daily anymore. Eh, well, and I'm sure there are still people. I can't even deny that, right? But yeah, I don't know. And not a place I want to go venture to daily, right? Under the circumstances. So
No, I feel that. I don't know. I'm kind of in between. I'll go and buy a bunch whenever I'm like out of food at my house. But then also, if I'm missing like one ingredient, one of us will go to the store and buy it. One night I got home at like 10 p.m. and I was like, I really want to cook brownies. But we didn't have one ingredient, so we went to the store, Walmart, at 10 p.m. just to buy one ingredient for brownies.
oh, my brother did that the other day. I forget what he needed. He needed, I don't know, something like crushed tomatoes or something stupid. And then he goes, he gets those, and then he comes back and he's like, I need these other things. And I was like, you were just there.
Did he go back?
Like, what? No, I don't think so. I think he just.
There's no way I'd ever go back twice. I'll go once, but
not
no,
twice. Hey, not twice.
I'll starve until the next day. I've done that before too. I'll be like, man, I'm so hungry, but just nothing sounds good right now, so I'm just gonna sleep and try again tomorrow.
I do that quite a bit too, especially under the circumstances. I'm like, I have no desire to go anywhere. I have no desire to even pretend to make food or do anything. So I'll just not eat and go to bed. And
my sister will say, "What's for dinner?" I'm gonna say, "Sleep, sleep and nicotine." You know Let's go.
Yeah, that's
balanced breakfast.
I could live off pop and nicotine. I'm not even lying. For sure, caffeine and nicotine, baby. Woo!
Do you make food a lot right now?
No.
Nice.
No. I should more because you know what? Like, it would probably save a bit. And I shouldn't say that. Like, I do, and a lot of the time, what I end up doing is making like a massive thing of pasta, eating that all week. I'll make like a massive package of chicken, and then eat that all week. And you know what I mean? So like, I eat a lot of the same foods repetitively. So like, I'm not cooking often, but I'm cooking like large portions when I
See, we'll buy a lot, like big boxes or whatever. Like we'll buy like a big pack of chicken, but we'll separate it as soon as we get home into like big bags of like individual meal portions, right? Put it in the freezer. So we just decide what we want, pull it out. I hate leftovers. 99% of the time, I will not eat leftovers. I hate them.
Oh, you're ridiculous. That's how my brother.
Because I just don't want the same thing all the time.
Food is better sometimes the next day after.
No. It's not because it's old, right? That's not the problem I have. It's the fact that I've already eaten it. That's the problem. Like, I'll eat food the day after. Like pizza. I think pizza the day after you pull it out of the fridge, remicrowave it, way better. But I just don't want food twice in 2 days or 3 days.
That is actually one of those foods. Everybody's like, yo, you eat reheated pizza? No. I'm not a fan
That's crazy,
of reheated
bro.
pizza. No.
I like it so much more than fresh.
Fresh, and that is the only way to eat pizza. You cannot let it sit and go hard in the fridge and then pull it out and eat it the next day.
It's so much better.
Savages.
It's like tougher. I love it.
No.
How do you eat pizza? How do you eat pizza? Like, what do you do to it?
Hot and fresh with as many toppings on it as possible.
Do you dip it in anything?
Not if it's got enough toppings on it.
Man, you should see me eat pizza. You'd throw up probably. I put salt and pepper almost all the time, but it's kind of like give or take. I don't need it, but
what do you need
I'll
salt
put it if I have it.
You have all these other flavors. What do you need salt and pepper for?
Okay, if you think Domino's gives me my flavor palette I'm searching for all my life, then you have a problem. There's not all these
Well,
flavors.
what
There's
are
like
you
some
what are you putting?
pepperoni and some like half-ass
Hold
ham.
on.
I think I'll be okay.
What are you putting on your pizza though? Like
I'm
cheese
a
and
cheap
pepperoni?
no, I'm a cheap pizza purchaser. I never buy like Supreme or like $17 pizza. I'll be like that two topping special. So I'll be like pepperoni and sausage or something. Banana peppers and sausage, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's your problem. So my suggestion to you is when
Oh,
Domino's has one of those like unlimited topping pizzas, go tell them you want every topping on it.
no, I don't
The
want
only
that.
thing, yeah, so there is a couple exceptions to that. They have all kinds of weird cheese. Like I normally tell them, yo, just like regular pizza cheese, bro. Like don't get all, especially
Mm-hmm.
vegan cheese. Like yo, don't get all crazy on the cheese. Just the regular cheese. Um, and then like uh, broccoli, I'm not too big a fan on. I don't think you need
Your all's
broccoli on
pizza is a lot different than
pizza.
ours. I don't even think broccoli is an option here.
Well, I'm just thinking of like there's some weird toppings, right? But like anchovies, throw those on there. I'm totally down for that.
I don't eat anchovies.
Yeah.
I don't put mushrooms on pizza. I don't
Oh,
like
mushrooms
onions
have
on
to be on
pizza, but like I'll eat it.
mushrooms, onions. Yes, no, you're what? Mushrooms,
Ham,
onions,
I hate
anchovies,
ham on pizza. Ham on pizza is
olives,
garbage.
ham. Oh yeah, pepperoni. Like, and that's the best thing about that Domino's unlimited topping deal is it's literally everything. And you know, like if anybody from Domino's was listening, I'm just saying, you know. But yeah, Domino's like that
It's
unlimited
probably
topping
like
pizza.
$15 for that. I'm not trying to spend that. I'd drop like
No,
$6 on a pizza, bro.
it's maybe $10
No, not
on the
here.
deal when they have the deal. And I
I've
bet you
never
down
seen that,
there
bro.
it's probably only like $7 down
I've
there.
never
Like
seen that. I think you got cheaper pizza than us because I've never seen pizza
no,
that cheap.
no, no, no. So in reality, like up here, if I'm not mistaken, it's like you said, it's like $15 Canadian,
It would
right?
be about the same here in US. For
And
a
that's
pizza with that many toppings, that's a lot.
yeah, like again, if you go to like any fancy restaurant for pizza or whatever, you're easily paying like normally $20 for say a medium sized pizza,
That's the
decent
thing. We
topping.
don't really buy pizza. We were just talking about this yesterday. Like, it's not that we don't like pizza. It's just like we don't really ever crave it, right? There's just better choices. So we just rarely get
I
it.
I do crave again a pizza with tons of toppings, like we done well. You know, I that's the only thing. One of the biggest reasons I actually stopped eating pizza is you order like even just a cheese and pepperoni, and there's 5 pepperoni on the whole pizza, and it's like, where's the rest of the pepperoni on the pepperoni pizza?
Yeah, true.
Like,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
even
I
worth
just
ordering.
pizza's not bad, but like I don't know. I think the
Oh,
only
there's
time I've
definitely
ordered pizza here is like when she's out of town or something. I'll grab one on the way home, snack on it for like 2 days. I
oh
don't know.
I a good pizza once in a while, but it's got to be a good one. And it's got to be, mind you. Do you guys have Pizza Hut down there?
There's one right beside my house.
Yeah, yo,
That's
and
where I normally
that
get pizza.
if that's a good treat every once in a while too. They have some phenomenal crust. It's like,
See, I
and you
don't
feel
know.
horrible after you eat it. But
Yeah,
pretty good
true.
pizza. Pretty good.
Worth it. What's your least
There's a
favorite
lot.
food?
My least favorite food.
Something you will not touch.
Will not touch. So I really like bologna,
Really?
bologna, whatever people want to call it. Like
Bologna. Yeah. Have you ever fried it?
um. So again, like because it's been so long since I've eaten it, I'm sure like if I were to have it now, I'd be like, okay, you know, like a good reminisce, whatever. It's potatoes is another one.
You
So
don't like
and like
potatoes? Wait, hold on.
I do eat French fries. I do eat scalloped potatoes. I do eat them done basically any other way than like mashed or a baked potato. But as a kid, that's all we ate was like mashed and baked potatoes. So now, like I never personally buy potatoes either, ever,
No.
never. No,
Hmm.
I haven't bought. I I don't think I've ever bought a potato,
We eat
ever,
a lot of potatoes.
ever bought
I
a
only make
potato.
mashed potatoes. I only eat them if I make them because I like them really like thick and not super creamy. I also put like garlic and stuff in them, so it's
No.
better. Yeah.
And again, like I had a baked potato made for me not long ago. It was good. I enjoyed it. Right? Like I don't have anything against them as much as I used to, but I would just not go buy a potato to eat. Like, and I
Mm-hmm.
would try. Like when it comes to food, I'm really open. Like I try a lot of things. Like I'm open to all that stuff. There is obviously you start getting to like Fear Factor and that kind of stuff. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah. That's like
no.
a different category though.
Yeah, but it and you know what I mean though? Like I would try some bugs, I would try some of those things, right? There's just some animal parts that I'm not down with trying, right? Like
Why would you try bugs? What's the upside of that?
I don't know, because if you were in another country and they said like, oh, this is a delicacy, this is what we eat all the
Okay,
time,
that's different. That's different. Yeah, I would
well,
do
and
that.
that's what I mean, right? Like it's not like I'm
Hmm.
gonna go look for crickets
Thought you
here
meant
and be
like
like,
a
oh,
dare or something, right? Like eat this. You're like, okay.
no,
Like there's no
no,
upside. No,
I'm
if it was
not one of
something,
those.
there are some international foods I would turn away, and even if it was disrespectful. I have a friend who went to, I believe it was South Korea, and she got this like I don't know, squid maybe. It was moving a lot on that plate though. There is no chance, bro. It literally looked like maggots, like a plate full of wet, like tomato sauced maggots. There is nothing in this world that would make me do that ever.
See, and if I knew what it was and knew it was seafood, I would probably, again, as long as it's something reasonable and nothing like absolutely gross, I would probably try it. Like, especially if it's seafood. I love
Mm-hmm.
seafood, right?
I like
But
shrimp. I don't like really. I mean, I'll eat other seafood, but I don't like love it. Right? I love shrimp though.
crab, crab.
I like crab cakes. I like crab in some stuff.
Well, do
I
you
don't
guys
like it
have
like by itself.
salt cod? Do you guys do that? Like boiled dinner down there? You ever heard of boiled dinner?
Yeah, it's like a bunch of like seafood and corn or whatever. They boil it, put it on like in front of you. Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, so yeah, they definitely have. No, well, so like I was thinking more like cabbage and so salt cod is the one thing I was thinking of, and then I was thinking like salt pork and salt beef, and they do
Hmm.
they put like cabbage and carrots and onion, and it's really salty,
I
and
don't think
yeah,
so. Not
cottage
that I've
roll.
seen at least.
Oh, if you get a chance, that's phenomenal too. That is well worth trying. Yeah, food, buddy. We could talk about food all day. I love
I
food.
went
I
to
like.
this place in Florida. I was at the beach with a friend, and we found this little seafood place, like very small. There's like 3 tables inside. We were the only people there. This is by far the best food I've ever had, like seafood I've ever had. Nothing competes to it. We got like, I don't know. I had like a lobster roll, or I had a shrimp roll. I think he had a lobster roll. We had like, what is it? Like bisque. What do you call that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
What is it? Is it lobster? That doesn't
about.
sound
Yeah,
right.
lobster. A lot of the time it's
Whatever.
lobster.
Thick soup.
Yes.
But that stuff was good. We got like shrimp tacos. Dude, we went out. It was like $80, but we went out
Hey,
that
my
day because it
stomach
was
is
so good,
rumbling,
bro.
sir. I'm hungry now. Like, oh, buddy, that's
So
you know what?
good.
That's what we should do. Like, I'll be honest. I've always those cooking shows and those guys who get to go around and get paid. They're getting paid while being on TV to try food.
Yeah,
I
bro.
want that job. That job right
You don't
there.
want that
That's the one.
job. You can't
Yeah.
travel. You're not allowed.
I,
Nobody's letting
job.
you in the country, bro. Relax.
Well, I'm just saying that one would be absolutely insane. I would, or like, what's the other guy's name there? He's got the fancy hair, the blonde hair, and he just traveled around to
Guy
like all the
Fieri.
Yes, that
Bro,
guy.
that's the restaurant that we went to. Was one of the restaurants he went to.
Yeah,
They had this
and
weird. Okay, hold on. They had this like Guy Fieri shrine in their restaurant. It was super weird and like over the top. But since he went there and said it was like so good, it's like they based all their marketing off of it. So you walk in the back little corner beside the restroom, there's a literal shrine dedicated to Guy Fieri, like photos and like everything. This weird little pedestal, like a deity. I was like, all right. I mean, I'm here for it, but whatever.
Yeah, but now think about this. Imagine your little dive bar restaurant. You're serving amazing food, but you can't make ends meet because you're just not getting the customer base. You have
Yeah.
a guy like that go in there and basically blow up your restaurant. You know what I mean? And now they're probably a thriving business, right? Like I could understand, loving that guy a little more than the next person if you were the owner,
I
right?
think
Under those
my
circumstances.
goal is to do content creation around traveling, whatever that may
That would
be. Whether it just be doing photography and videography like on the road, or whether it be doing travel based content creation, right? Either or. I mean, obviously, I feel like that's a lot of people's goals, right? Super vague. Like, I want to travel and take photos, but like, I don't know. I just got to get out.
well,
I gotta travel. I gotta see different places. I feel so stuck just being in one place all the time.
that's actually a really, again, obviously, start doing it. Like, you know what I mean? You should have done that with your trips up to Canada
That's
and
what I'm
just
doing right
start
now,
doing it
bro. I told you.
all
That's
over.
I told you like a year ago, probably. When the time comes, I will get vaccinated and I will travel. And here I am getting vaccinated, and I will be traveling in March. I'm gonna go somewhere.
Well, you let me know, sir.
I don't know if I
You
said I
let
was
me
coming
know.
there. No, I'll probably go there. I might also go to
Come on up.
Britain sometime soon.
I want in on that trip. I know they won't let
Well,
me in right now.
you know the requirements. You figure it
Actually,
out. You're
yo,
more than
hold
welcome.
on. No, England's dropping their regulations, if I'm not mistaken. They're dropping.
I don't know. I don't know enough about
I,
it.
I and again, I don't know. I can't say 100%. I read somewhere a couple days ago that they're gonna drop the regulations there.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that from
We
him, but
we
I don't know.
well, sir, if you're going there, drop
You're cutting
regulations
out a
of the
little bit.
trip.
Oh yeah, you
You're
want in?
cutting out, sir.
Gotcha. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you cut out.
I
That's
do
all I
plan
have.
on going there. I don't
Well,
know
I
when to
want
line
the
everything up, but I
I
don't
want in on that
know.
trip badly. And if we could somehow, we should do it. We should try. And obviously, under the rules and regulations, but we should try for October. And I have no idea how I would make that work because I don't even have source of income right now.
That's the
But
spirit. Wait, why October? What's in October?
well,
Just
so
like a random day.
Hall of Vape is in
This guy?
Germany,
No.
somewhere around there. I'm just hear me out. And if
I'll
we
be
make like
honest, I have no interest in traveling for vape expos anymore, which
I
sounds crazy coming from me, but
I your
it's
opinions,
just not
sir,
worth
were
it.
not even asked
It's
for.
not worth it, bro.
I,
They're half CBD expos, and they've all taken such a hit
can you let me
with people
finish?
that show up.
I'll tell you
No,
one more time. Your opinions were not even
no,
uh,
doesn't
like
matter.
didn't matter exactly. Didn't matter.
Germany's not gonna let you in anyway. You can't go anywhere until you get vaxxed.
So we could,
I could.
do like England and like Germany, and then maybe like visit Italy. Like they're all kind of over there, and there's a whole bunch of them that I want to visit, all kind of within that area. And I'm
You're
just
talking
saying,
about a bid price tag for no income right now. I got a job, and that's a bid price tag. That's a lot of money,
buddy, I got a backpack and 2 feet and a heartbeat.
bro.
I like to make things happen. So I'm just telling you, money or not, like I'm one of those guys that I don't know. You just figure it out. You just make it work. I don't know how. Like I
I
said,
don't
I
know.
wouldn't even know how to get to that side of the world. I don't even have an income right
An
now. If we
airplane,
were
bro.
to plan this and make this happen,
I mean, you know I'm down for any kind of travel anywhere, all the
I
time.
gotta settle down and not get all excited. Microphone, like, no, no, sir.
I think
quiet
I don't
town.
know. Europe is so expensive. That's the only reason it's not higher on my list. The UK is a different part because I have places to stay and whatnot. But I think a big reason why I just haven't been interested in starting in Europe is because it's so expensive. That's why I told you I wanted to start in Southeast Asia, right? All of Asia, but specifically Southeast Asia, because it's so cheap, right? I can make my money go so much further. I can stay for a year versus stay for like 3 months in Europe, right?
Yeah, but see, like, and I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but I do think about like, what if you were to go over there with like nothing and try and backpack it and make it work, and like that would in itself would be a decent story.
I mean, I think
You
you
know what I mean?
could, but like,
Oh, it
I
wouldn't
don't know.
be.
I'll be honest, I'm not
It,
ballsy enough to do that with no backup
oh, see, I am.
plan.
That's one of those like
But you haven't done
attitudes.
it. You can't say you are. You could have already many times. What's stopping you? Now something's stopping you, kind of. But nothing was
I
stopping you before.
well, there was
Really,
other
nothing's
circumstances.
stopping you now. But
There are some
technically,
there are some
technically,
barriers
mm,
to these situations that
mental
have
barriers only.
not necessarily just mental barriers, right? Like I wish the majority of them were mental barriers. Some of them, uh, more than mental. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, lots of other things, and obviously it's a lot different because in reality, obviously, the plan is to go and travel and have money and do things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like under the circumstances now, like you got to make do with what you got. So you just
um,
go and wing it, and you know what I mean. I don't really know how you make it all work, but you just run it.
I don't
Like
know. I mean, like the last time I was in Canada, I was kind of winging it. You remember how that trip ended? God, that was a hassle in itself. I don't even want to get into that. But you remember how it ended, no? Or kind of how it
it,
started too. Remember I had to come
oh
back
yeah,
early? Yeah, for
while
that.
you're yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that was wild. I hated that.
Well, and you know what I mean? Like, I think there's the difference, though, between going with a plan and expectations and having a schedule. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to do these things. Like, I can't miss. I can't be late, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if
Mm-hmm.
you're going and just kind of winging it, fine, oh, well, I'll sit here. Like, you know what I mean? You guys are going to keep me sheltered and out of the weather. Like, whatever. Do it. And you're gonna have to feed me too after so many hours. Like, say la vie, buddy. So
Maybe.
I
I don't
do
know.
think there's a bit of a difference there in
I
these
think I want to be
travel.
like in the middle, right? I don't want to go there and stay in like 3-star hotels and like go to all the major spots like whatever, Paris, London, like all the main spots, all the best stuff, like super touristy. But at the same time, also don't want to like put myself in a situation that could go wrong.
No, and I understand. Like a lot of people do have that worry with traveling. Um, and it's funny. Like I never think like that when I travel. Never.
What?
I've
Like,
so many people be careful. Don't stop here, especially, crossing the border in certain places. People just tell me, do not stop. Do not get out of your car. Well, I'm like, why? There's still, it's people. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm,
there's good and bad people everywhere in the world, no matter where you go. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know.
Like,
I think some places they're a lot more prevalent though, right? Like I wouldn't. I don't know. My buddy took a trip driving through like central Mexico and then down into South America. I was like, you gotta be careful in some areas, right? More than others, just because crime and whatnot is a lot more prevalent in certain areas.
well, and no different than those touristy places, right? The locals are going to know that the tourists are there, and those are the people that can be easily taken advantage of. So being mindful and being wary of these things, I definitely think is beneficial. But I don't think everybody should go out thinking worst possible and
No, I agree with
situation,
that, right?
right?
Like,
Like I think the majority of people are good and want to do good and are willing to do good. And you know what I mean? Like, even if I feel like even if you were to get into a situation, there would be someone there that should be or wants to help,
mm-hmm.
right? So
No, that
You
makes
know,
sense. And there's some
I
places I've seen a lot of people travel to, like places you think like Afghanistan. I follow
and
this YouTube group that does a lot of like whatever seeking discomfort, and one of them went to Afghanistan. This was obviously before a lot of stuff went down in Afghanistan, but
yeah,
just in general, even before that, like a couple years ago or whatever, it was still looked at like, oh, super dangerous. Like if you go there, you're gonna die. Blah blah blah. All these like stereotypes, right? Media. But when he went, like he said, it was some of the best people he's ever met in his life.
and that's again, I think a lot of the times we're told stories, and you see massive media portrayal of something a certain way, and when you go and look at it for yourself or even investigate a little bit for yourself, maybe it's not how we were told. You know what I mean? And I've heard of lots of stories of just like that, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, we went to a place that we weren't supposed to be. Everybody says it's bad. We had an amazing time. The people were amazing. Everything was exceptional, you know, and that's the majority of how I go about thinking when I travel. You know, maybe it's the wrong way. Maybe I should be more cautious and mindful that, but again, I try not to think about all the bad in the world. I try to think good and positive, and you know what I mean,
I
like.
think I'm somewhere in the middle, right? I think I'm not afraid to go 99% of places. My goal is to visit every country in the world. That's my life goal. Visit every country, sleep in every country in the world. There's like 196, I think. Even the ones, there's some I'm not even allowed in. North Korea, U.S. citizens are banned from North Korea right now.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get in at all. Before, you could only get in on like tour groups, but I could have slept there. But now you're not allowed in at all, right? So there are certain places that are obviously, and you have a lot of places in like Africa that are like harder to get to, right? You can't just take a flight. I mean, I guess you could, but you know what I mean, right? It's a lot more than just going to, let's say, Canada.
Well, and you know what I mean, like I think that's a lot of people don't realize, like obviously a lot of these organizations, like people have money if they're going to them, you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people aren't walking into these places, right? Like people are traveling by plane,
Uh,
or private plane, or whatever the case may be, right? Again, I'm thinking about a lot of the Everest videos I've been watching lately, and the majority of people, are flying into base camp there, and then, you know,
mm-hmm. That makes sense.
away they
And
go.
also the danger level, right? Like there are some countries that are obviously a lot more dangerous for
Well, I'm
just
sure somewhere
people
like
and especially U.S. citizens, right, going into. But I'm not put
somewhere
off
like
by that. But at the same time, I'm not trying to be blinded, right? Like I'm aware of it, and I'll do my best to, stay clear of situations that will put me in that spot.
see, you know what though, like it's funny growing up so sheltered and really not knowing a bunch about it, and we're really not told a whole bunch either, right? Like I don't know a whole lot about North or even South Korea, right? Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
told their rules and regulations are very, very different than ours. Um, but like, why is it so different? What about it is so different? Why did it become like that, or was it always like that? And you know what I mean? Like, I have so many questions about that kind of stuff, and maybe I should like look it up more. But like,
I think
I think
information's a lot more available now, like stories of people that live there, stuff like that. Obviously, than when I was younger, especially when you were younger, sure. But you know what I mean? Like you see a lot more of that coming out now.
Well, and obviously with access to the internet and everybody's able to upload videos and share stories and do those things, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have access to people on the other side of the world where before you didn't, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not like you were sending post mail to North Korea or South Korea, and I'm sure there's people that did, but you know what I mean? Like you're talking massive um, time to get, letters there or whatever it may be, and obviously responses back. Whereas now you can literally do it like this and video cam with whoever may
Mm-hmm.
be there and get live footage of what's going on and what's happening, right?
I
Live
think that's a big
commentary, whatever.
reason that I'm not a fan of living where I live. Like, obviously, there's tons of upsides, being in America compared to other places. But I think overall we're so like sheltered, like you were saying, to the outside world, Europe, Asia, Africa, right? Like it's all like some big media stunt whenever we do acquire information, right? And it's just
Yeah.
perceived like we're the best. Everyone else is super poor and have strict laws and USA, USA. When in reality, people other places are so much more happy. Not everywhere, obviously. There are lots of bad stuff, lots of bad things going on. But
Well,
I don't know. I feel like
yeah,
we're
but
only shown the bad, not the
yeah,
good.
but I think that's no different than the U.S. too, though. I'm sure if you go find people in the U.S. and speak to them, they're very happy with where they are, where they're living, what's going on, whatever the case may be, regardless of our opinions about it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And they're living content and don't really care about anything else,
That is true
right?
too. Right?
And again, probably no different than any any country you would go visit, right? Like I'm sure you can go find someone who's like, I love my country, I love everything about it, things are great, things are amazing, and not even speak any ill
I
will
don't
or
know. I
any
feel like a
bad.
lot of countries, especially, I don't know, not even especially, I think a lot of countries or a lot of people in other continents have a lot more exposure to either other cultures, other people, other countries. Look at Europe, how cheap and easily accessible flights are compared to the US, right? From here to you is going to cost like $300. I could get a lot more out of a European flight schedule for 300 US, right?
Yeah.
Same with Asia, like people I know there versus people I know here have traveled what seems like the whole world. When in reality, they just have so many different cultures and so many different people and experiences in the same cross section as the United States. And most people I know here have never been out of the country. I would say a large percentage. I would like to see the actual numbers for people that have traveled internationally, like breakdown by country, to see, let's say,
But
if.
see, you guys would have one of the biggest population that travels. You have one of the biggest populations,
No, but I'm
period.
saying percentage wise, right? Like, not just by pure numbers, but by percentage. 1% of our population may equal 10% of the UK's population.
Yeah,
But
no,
if
I
10%
understand.
of people have outside cultural references to pull from, then it's a lot different,
No,
right?
I get that. I get that. And
But I
that's
would be interested to see those.
and that's one thing that I hope we can continue obviously with this podcast, right? Is getting people on from different countries and having different views and opinions. We have ours and I do agree with you in the sense that I think both of ours are small when you look at the big picture of things, right? There's a
Hmm.
massive world out there with millions, billions of people, right, with different views and opinions and ideas and things, and so it's, I don't know, like especially me, like I definitely never think I'm right. I think there's always more information. There's always more to the story. There's always more to learn. Um, and I hope we can actually get more people to reach out and talk and hear those things, right? Like I'm very interested in those things.
I
Love
would say
that.
that's probably my biggest goal of this. Is not even like the arguments and the disagreements, but just like seeing different people from wherever, right? I mean, we're
And
already
talking.
what we're doing right now is something most people don't do, at least here. Like the fact that I'm talking to someone in Canada on a regular basis is not something that is normal here, right? The fact I've been to Canada a couple times is something that's like super different than most people here. I've met people that haven't even left their own state, much less going into a different country.
Yeah, but and you know what though, I had a lot of that too when I was traveling to the U.S. a lot. You're going to the U.S. You're actually going to go down with Trump involved. You're going to go
Hmm.
down there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't give a rear end what's going on. I don't care. I'm going because I want to go, and this is what I want to do. Right? Like I do
Yeah.
not care about nonsense. Once I made up my mind, this is what I'm doing. Oh, buddy, I'm going. And there
I
was
think
no
another
way.
aspect is the price. Everyone thinks it's so expensive to travel short distances. The first time I went to Canada, I did the math. I spent less than 500 US. on everything.
Well,
That's including a $300 flight. And given I had the advantage of being able to stay with you, right? So that is a huge plus. But anyone can do what we're doing, genuinely. Like the way we met is so off the beaten path. Like anyone can just meet people. Obviously, be safe about it. But if you have someone, I mean, whenever I go to the UK, just today, I had someone say, as soon as you land, you have somewhere to stay as long as you want.
and that's those, you know what? Like that again, even me, like that's a massive thing when it comes to the social media aspect that I was blown away with, and still, it amazes me every day. I had someone reach out today, bro. I'll help you out. I'll send you whatever you need. But and I'm like, dude, you're amazing. I've never even met you in person, and you're willing to just help. And I didn't even ask for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
just they heard some of the situation, and they went out of their way to try and help and offer. And it just goes to show. You know what I mean? Like there are amazing people in this world, right? As much as the bad and all these
Yeah.
crazy things going on and negativity, there's tons and tons of that too, right? There are good people, there are tons of good things going on. And you know, social media is a very good place to meet people and build those connections, right? We were able to build that connection. I went and stayed with you, you came and stayed with
Mm-hmm.
me, right? It cost us nothing but the travel to go in between places, right? And then, you know what I mean, your food and whatever else. Like
Exactly right. I think
it,
that's the
it
biggest
makes
takeaway. Just talk to more people, right? Like everyone,
yeah,
anyone listening, watching, whatever. Just talk to more people. If you're uncomfortable talking to more people, talk to even more people until you're not uncomfortable with it. Have a conversation. You'll meet so many people. I've talked to people all around the world, so many different stories just from literally having a conversation, right?
and that's, sir, what I think. And it's funny. I think we've actually done a very good job. We seem to have some pretty interesting conversations when they get going and rolling. And you know, again,
Yeah.
differences of opinion and disagreements are, of course, going to happen, and that's okay, right? But again, having open, honest conversations. You know, I think we need more of that massively across the world. And yeah, I think you're right. I think more people just need to do that. Exactly that. Have a conversation. I think that's a perfect spot to end it too, to be
I
completely
think
honest.
so.
Killed it,
That shall
sir.
probably
Killed it.
wrap it up. You guys can see a recap of this on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify. Or if
Ooh,
you are
fancy.
already listening or watching on those platforms, then you can join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern to be included in the Twitch portion where we interact with chat.
All
Fun,
right,
fun.
sir. So goodbye, listeners.